Hello and a very warm welcome to the team talk here at Easter Road. The post-split fixtures are upon us, and where better place to start than the Edinburgh Derby to kick things off. It's a fixture that needs no introduction. Hibs versus Hearts, Green versus Maroon, Leith versus Gorgie, and it is all to play for at Easter Road. Fingers crossed for some more moments like these later on this afternoon.
Martin Boyle, he scores! Martin Boyle opens the scoring in the Edinburgh Derby. That came out of absolutely nothing, Martin. Chance here for Iredale. Oh, what a finish! Jack Iredale with a left foot! Wow! What a hit! McGrath! Goes for the cross. Come on! Chance again this time. It's Bowie. Yes! Oh my goodness me! Just look at this place. Just listen to this place.
Yes, hello and welcome to the team talk here from Easter Road. It's Hibs versus Hearts and it's a fixture that needs no introduction. My name's Gavin Rittoo, and joining me to preview this one, well, it's a player who knows everything about the Edinburgh Derby himself, a Hibs legend in his own right, Lewis Stevenson. Louis, how are you? Great to have you here.
Good, thanks for having me. I'm not excited for the game today.
Yeah. 49 Edinburgh Derbies that you've played in across your 600 games here at Hibs. What was about the fixture that was so special for you?
Look, it means everything for the fans, for the players especially. It's, the fixtures come out, it's the first one you look for. When's the first one? Is the one at Christmas time? But it can really make or break your season. You can go through a bad time, they can kind of get kick-started, or you could be flying and it knocks you off your stride. So it doesn't get much bigger in derbies over the years than the one today.
Is there any particular fixtures or games that you played against Hearts that stood out for you that either kick-started the season or that were really special for you?
Look, in hindsight, the one where we were 2-0 down at Tiny and bring it back that day, and then to beat your rivals in the way to win the Scottish Cup was massive. And looking back, that's probably the biggest one, the biggest moment, and the biggest derby win. But there's been ones at Tynecastle where you're kind of backs against it and you're not fancied, and you pull someone at the bag. They're ones you always remember as well. But the 49, I wish I did have a few more wins under my belt, and it would be nice to get around figure of 50 to top off. But I was on 49 for ages and never got that next one. But played plenty of other games, I suppose.
Yeah, and what was it about? Because you said sometimes it doesn't go with the form, or you can be on a good run, come into it, and then it goes the other way. Is it a case of you've got to approach it with the right mindset, mentality, and it's more just kind of who turns up on the day?
There is that, but I think even sometimes tactics go out the window. We could be playing a certain way for a few weeks and then we get to Derby and we change it. Especially at Tynecastle, it was a slightly smaller pitch and it almost feels closer, so you'd probably play more direct, try to take too many chances at the back, and it's just however the managers see it. But as you say, it's moments that kind of happen. A team very rarely gets blown away, so it's going to be moments, it's a bit of magic or somebody making a mistake that can be a big difference. Yeah,
for sure. And obviously you've been at Wraith this season, added another cup to your collection as well with the SPFL Trust Trophy. Can you just tell us a little bit about your season so far and adding another accolade to your growing list?
It's been frustrating, and especially in the league it's been frustrating. I've kind of had a couple of injuries as well, and I don't know, I've never really got a run going. Probably the last few weeks we went on a 5 or 6 game where we looked good, had a wee chance of playoffs, but ultimately fell at the final hurdle against Arbroath last week. But to win that Trust Trophy, does mean a lot. If you're realistic, teams like Wraith Rovers, it's going to be really hard for them to win a League Cup or a Scottish Cup. I know they have won a League Cup a few years ago, but just to be in it, and then once you're there you want to win it, and that was a great day for the players, all kinds of different stages, like me and the older ones but younger ones as well, that to win a trophy so early on is good, and you need to make the most of these days.
And I know you've been coming back to Easter Road in a few different kind of guises as well, on Hibs TV or commentary, or speaking at events and stuff. In terms of matters on the pitch, what have you made of Hibs this season?
No, I think it's been a decent season. There's a decent points tally there, and you're always compared to Hearts. I think the season probably looks worse because Hearts are doing so well. I think probably what's frustrating with for the manager and the players is probably the cup runs as well. I think they had a good chance in the Scottish Cup, and to go on and do something special, and that Dunfermline game probably still haunts them to this day, especially seeing how well they've done. But like the league form's not too bad. They've still got a chance of fourth. I can't remember the last time a Hibs team finished third one year, fourth the next year. So if they can do that 2 years in a row, then it's some achievement.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously it's the fourth and the final derby of the season. Just how big is this one in terms of, like you said, everything that's on the line? Just in terms of everything that is on the line, and in the top six is always more important.
It's pivotal for both teams. They've all got their own kind of the game plan. There's things going for both sides, but either way, Hibs are fighting for fourth, and they could play a pivotal part in the title race as well. So I'm sure, like many Hibs fans, they won't want to see Hearts winning the league. So I'm not going to hide the fact that if we can dent their hopes, then that'd be good to get Hibs win today.
Yeah, for sure. And home advantage has definitely proven pivotal in this fixture so far. Here's a reminder of the last time the two sides met at Easter Road.
Good cross, McGrath! Looking for the byline, goes for the cross, Campbell! Just look at what it means to Josh Campbell to score in the derby!
Here we go again.
Yeah, Bowie might have a chance again this time. It's Bowie! Yes! Oh my goodness me! Just look at this place! Just listen to this place!
Yes, 3-2 it finished the last time the Edinburgh Derby was here at Easter Road. That was at Christmas time. Louis, a massive win, 3-0 up after 50, 60 minutes. Hearts obviously got the two late goals at the end, but it was a huge win and a brilliant performance.
No, a great performance. I think the 3-2 scoreline flattered Hearts at the end of the day. I think they'd been lucky to come away with that result, but it shows how important a fast start is. I think it settled everyone down, players wise and fans wise. But no, it was a really good, solid performance, and looking back, it's probably a chance to really put a number on Hearts that day. To be fair to them, they've came back. It didn't halt them too much in the league, and they came back and put on a decent run. So, if we start like that again, then we'll be happy.
Yeah, how important is that fast start? Because there's so much anticipation and energy and tension, nerves, all these kind of things that go into any Edinburgh Derby. But to score within the first 5 or 10 minutes, it really kind of set the tone for the day ahead.
Yeah, I think when you go into these games, you're kind of thinking, don't lose a goal. So when you find yourself a goal up, it's a double whammy. So it's even better. You work on stuff all week tactically, and everything can go out the window after a fast start like that, or after a slow start like that on the opposite side. So you just need to remain level-headed. A bit of quality there, 2 bits of quality that scored the goal. So at the end of the day, it's a football match, and people need to remember to show their quality, and it's not just about running about kicking people, which maybe I've done too much times in a derby.
Yeah, and then as I said before, it was kind of home advantage in the derby this season that's proved crucial. We won 3-2 last time here at Easter Road, but then obviously Hearts won both of them at Tynecastle with some very late goals. Will that give David Gray and the Hibs players in the dressing room today that kind of extra motivation just because of like the sucker punch that we were dealt in both those games at Tynecastle?
I think there's nothing between the games at Tynecastle, and to come away with 2 defeats is very harsh. It just shows the importance of being concentrated to the very last minute, and to be fair to Hearts, they put a bit of quality in and managed to take their chance at that so late on. It gave Hibs no time to really recover from it. So look, if we scored in the first minute or last minute, I don't really mind as long as Hibs come away with a win today.
Yeah, not long to go until kick-off from now. Just in terms of like the change room dynamic and players preparing for the game and stuff, what would they be going through right now? What did you normally go through and prepare for a big game like this?
It's mad because of the 49, I can't really remember how I prepared. I think I was that nervous. It would be, you'd be worried, you'd be dreaming about what could happen, and still dreaming about trying to score. I've still never scored in a derby, so that was that never came to fruition. But it's tough. Like, there'll be experienced ones try to explain and try to settle the young boys down. But I think everyone prepares in their own way. I think all the talking's done before the game. It doesn't really matter till the boys step out on the pitch and really show what they can do. Yeah, definitely. And in the week leading up to the game, like I know you said, some of the older, more experienced players will have a word with the young boys and stuff. Is that kind of, did you do that in your career? Did you kind of offer words of wisdom and try and help boys that hadn't experienced the derby before and kind of give them a sense of what it could be like, or were you kind of more quiet and in the background? You try and give them little snippets of advice, but I think it's hard to prepare for it. Foreign boys came in, or boys that hadn't tasted it, we would time to tell them, and to be fair, they'd be well versed. They would watch videos, especially nowadays. You can see it. The club do it as well. It's like a big build up to so everyone gets a rough idea, and people have played in their own type of derbies. But you just let them know how much it means, because being part of Hibs for so long, this was the biggest game of the season, and even if you're having a bad season, if you can go and win today, then it can make a big difference in what the fans think of you, and just how happy you feel at the end of the day. Yeah, you really can make yourself a hero. Right, nice one. We're going to take a short break now, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll get the pre-match shots from Jamie McGrath and, of course, the Hibs head coach, David Gray. Back in a couple of minutes.
Shopping, working, and relaxing online can attract various digital threats. To improve your protection against them, just turn on NordVPN. This cybersecurity app will block web trackers and malware-infected sites. It will also encrypt your internet traffic without losing a smooth connection. Get NordVPN now. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
Hello, welcome back to Team Talk here from Easter Road. We're joined by Lewis Stevenson to preview the Edinburgh Derby. Before we hear from Louis, time to get the pre-match thoughts from David Gray. He caught with Hibs TV earlier this week.
Dave, we're looking ahead to the Edinburgh Derby this Sunday. How have preparations been this week?
As you'd imagine, the players are looking forward to this one, as is everybody involved. A brilliant game to come back to. It's been obviously a couple of weeks since our game at Aberdeen, which was really disappointing in the end. We have managed to get a bounce game in that period as well, so the players keep ticking over. I think with it being this close to the end of the season, it is important you try and get minutes into players to make sure they're fresh and ready to go. Everyone's in a good place that is going to be available for the game. And that's the challenge between now and the end of the season. There's 5 cup finals to go, and no bigger than the one that comes this weekend.
This will be the 4th time we faced Hearts this season. Just what do you expect from them this weekend?
Well, I think, as I've said quite a lot though, at this stage of the season, well, nothing's handed out after 33 games, but at the same time they've been very consistent. They find themselves at the top of the league for a reason, so it will be a difficult game. But it doesn't matter, the form, I've been involved in these enough to know that your form, squads, it all depends on who turns up on the day, and we could be in different leagues, different first game of the season, pre-season friendlies, it wouldn't matter. The magnitude of the game's there for everyone, we know that. A brilliant game to look forward to, a brilliant game to come back to. If you think about the games we've played already, going to Tynecastle this year, both games we've lost very, very fine margins, but within that, very little within the games. The home game we take confidence from, because I do think for large spells up to 75 minutes before they score, I think it was 3 going on more. We do take confidence for that, but that doesn't mean this game's going to be any easier. But we have to take the confidence. Our home form is really strong, and we need to make sure we hit the levels of performance, and if we can do that, we give ourselves a real chance of winning the game, which is the most important thing. The derbies are there for everyone to look forward to. There's no better game to be involved in. But for what we need to go and achieve this season, it certainly sets us up nicely for the last 5 games if we can go and do that.
It's another sellout at Easter Road this weekend. Just how important can the atmosphere be for a game like this?
I think the atmosphere will be outstanding. It always is. The derbies are the best games to look forward to. It's the one time during the season again when I always question myself why I retired and miss the fact that I used to play. Well, I know exactly why I retired, to be honest, but I think they are so good to be involved in. It's brilliant for everybody if you come out on the right result, but coming to this football club, these are the games you want to be involved in, and no bigger game when there's such riding on it for what we need to go and achieve. Added to that, the noise because of where Hearts are as well at this stage of the season. But I'll go back and say it again, there's nothing handed out after 33 games. It is all about us and making sure we go and finish this season as strong as we can, and there's no better way to kick it off than go and get 3 points against your rivals.
Finally then, how are we looking in terms of team news ahead of the weekend?
Yeah, well, there's obviously a couple missing. Rudy's out for the season, so he's not going to be back. Grant Hanley will miss this one through suspension, so he misses a couple of games after his red card. Garen Anger's not fit yet either, but moving in the right direction, which is good. Initially we thought we might have lost him for the season, but that's looking a much more positive situation just now, but not back on the grass. The positive news is Josh Mulligan's back with the group. He's trained this week, just part training, so won't be available for this weekend. But great to see him back in training with the boys at the right stage of the season, and at the same time, as I've just said, they're the business end, so it makes the squad a lot healthier going in towards the end of it.
Cheers and best luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Yes, that was the pre-match thoughts from David Gray speaking to Hibs TV earlier this week. Louis, the gaffer, mentioned this is obviously the start of the post-split fixtures, and everyone's got something to play for. It's set to be a really exciting last 5 games of the season.
Yeah, as you said, everyone's playing for their own thing, and I think there'll be. I can't see anyone going on a 5-game winning run, so there's going to be points dropped, points picked up maybe unexpectedly as well. So it's going to be tough. You still can't call it either way for any team, and to be fair, Falkirk have still got a fighting chance as well. So you don't rule them out, but it's hard. You almost need to play every game like it's a cup final now because points are precious and. They're very hard to come by in the top 6.
Yeah, very true. And the manager also mentioned, it's his job to get the players up for the game. Everyone understands the significance of this fixture. You'd have obviously played, 100, 200 games alongside David Gray. What was he like in the change room? Because you had him as captain before a derby, and how was he at getting everyone reared up for the game?
No, he was quite calm and quiet. Probably how he comes across in interviews. He's always been level-headed. He wouldn't speak just for the sake of it or shout for the sake of it. But when he did speak, people listened and sat up and noticed what he was saying. So, he's got a pretty good record, I think, as a player, and a decent record as a manager as well. So there's no better man to tell that team what to do and what it needs to go out and to win the game today.
Yeah. Just 3 points of Motherwell. Motherwell obviously play They play Rangers earlier just before we kick off here at Easter Road. Still everything to play for in terms of that race for fourth. And you mentioned earlier about the possibility of achieving back-to-back European football. It's not been done in a while. I've been told it's actually 50 years since we've done that twice in a row. What does that kind of say about the progress that David Gray has made here at Hibs?
I think it's been kind of underestimated. He's probably not had the credit he deserves, probably because Hearts are doing so well. It's tough because it's always ifs and buts just now. We'll wait and see at the end of the season, but if Hibs can finish fourth again this year and get in Europe, and it showed how exciting those European nights were, then that'll be a great achievement, not just for him but for the club in general. Yeah,
we saw the highlights of the last time that we played Hearts here at Christmas time. A lot has kind of changed in terms of the squad since then. Brought in 6 new faces in January, one of which is Owen Elding, who's kind of really hit the ground running, scored some big goals for the club already at such a young age. How impressed have you been with him?
Really impressed. I actually bumped into him there. I was surprised how big in stature he is for a 20-year-old. He's got to get a pre-match meal, so 5 steaks or something I think he was going to eat. But not just his physicality, but his quality and his control and his composure in big moments for a striker has been great. I kind of got bedded in pretty sparingly at the start, but it seems to have worked well, and he looks the main man for Hibs just now, and another goal today would be good. Yeah, we're seeing some of his goals up on screen now, and he kind of scores all types of goals. He scores headers. He seems to get into the right positions at the right time, and really has a knack for finding the back of the net. Yeah, I think when a young guy comes as a striker, they're almost kind of put in the wing sometimes, but I think he had a few games there early doors. Wraith actually played him in a bounce game at the training game, and he's played on the wing against me actually. But no, he's done so well through the middle that you need to keep him there, and he said it's a great finish. Well ahead of his time and ahead of his years. He looks good in front of goal. Yeah, that goal that we're just seeing there, it's the fastest goal scored this season. I think it was like 13 or 14 seconds it kind of came against Kilmarnock there. You mentioned you played against him earlier this season in a bounce game on the wing. What was he like to play against? He was good. He was probably thinking, why am I playing against Raith Rovers on a Thursday afternoon? But you could tell they had quality. It was kind of a mixed team. I think it was an international break, so there was a few boys off, a few boys away, and both teams needed a game, so it was nice to come up and play against some friendly faces, and it was a decent standard of the game. I think we actually might have won or drew that game, so we'll take that. Yeah. We just talk about Owen Elding there. How influential and how big a game will it be for him today? And you could have, like you said, when you come and play for Hibs and you have a moment in the game like this, we're just seeing some of the testing the nice. Pre-match pyro before the game. Must be a big game if there's pyro here. But like you mentioned, it's a real opportunity to make a name for yourself and become a hero at this club if you have a big moment in the derby. 100%. I think for a striker as well, there's more chance of being a hero. I always thought that. I think I was the defender would probably get more nervous. We're the ones that could ultimately make a mistake that leads to a goal. I thought if I was a striker and wanted to play, then you've got a real chance of making a difference and making moments in history, because scoring winners or goals in derbies that you remember forever. Yeah, for sure. Well, we're seeing a few fireworks going off later. The smoke cannons, the pyro is all out, and not long till kick-off as well. Time to get the pre-match thoughts now from Jamie McGrath.
Your record in this fixture, if you can start, you've got 1 start, 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 win. Easy for you, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully keep it going like that, but now as long as we come out the other side of it with a win on Sunday, that's all anyone cares. It doesn't matter how it comes or who contributes. Just as long as we come out the other side, that's all everybody wants. And like I said, it's by no means going to be an easy game. They're top of the league for a reason, and but we've shown what we can do in spells this season, so hopefully we can bring it on Sunday.
Have you felt comfortable in it as a fixture though? I know the other 2 came off the bench and you were coming back from injury, but even that first start, did you feel like, this is all right for me, it's not like anything out of the ordinary?
Yeah, no, I think all of us kind of thrive on that. You've seen in the European games earlier on in the year. I think the big kind of atmosphere is what we enjoy and what we thrive on. So I think if you can't get yourself up for them games, you may call it a day. So it's a really exciting week for us.
Yes, that was Jamie McGrath on media duties earlier this week. Louis, how impressed have you been with Jamie since he joined the club in the summer? Because again, another player who's really hit the ground running since he joined.
Yeah, early doors for the European games. I was really impressed. You know, he's a player that can arrive in big moments. Scored some really important goals. His quality shows throughout, and he's one of the players that Hibs will look up to today, and hopefully can produce someone again.
He's a player that, you know, he's seen there, done it all in Scotland, and a player he probably played against a couple of times as well. He's really kind of gives Hibs that kind of like creative spark going forward. I know you're seeing a lot of former faces.
Paul Hanlon running past it.
We'll get Paul Hanlon on for Hibs TV too.
Sorry.
I'm just
no, it's mad because I remember at St Mirren, and I think Jack Ross tried to sign him, then he went to Aberdeen, and there was talk for years we were going to sign him. So I was unfortunate I never got to share a dressing room. I'd love to have played with him because I played against him a few times, and he was really clever. And you said sometimes when you see him in a game for a while and he'd pop up a goal or an assist, and you think, how did that happen? So you know, it might be a cagey affair today. There might be nothing in it, and players like that can step up and show their quality. Then hopefully it can be on a green side. Yeah,
another player who's had his fair share of saves and big moments in Edinburgh Derbies is of course Martin Boyle. Could be his last one here this afternoon. Just a word on Boyle and how much he kind of relishes and steps up to the occasion, particularly in the big games, because he always seems to crop up with a big goal.
He's a big moment player, obviously, and I'd be no happier person if he scored a winner today than me. I like the club means so much to him. He has gave everything since the time I was there, and I know how hard he works behind the scenes as well. So he might be this joking figure, but he's got a serious head down, and I'm sure he'll want to. If it's his last Edinburgh Derby, then he's going to want to finish it with a win. And even better if he can chip in with a goal as well.
Yeah, but just finally then, because I know we're running out of time, and as you can kind of see that really not long to go until kick-off. Now the atmosphere is really building. How important is that atmosphere going to be inside Easter Road to get the fans on side, as we touched upon earlier, and get this place really rocking ahead of what is, you know, a massive Edinburgh Derby? Like,
it's going to be really loud. You're not able to hear yourself think on the pitch. I think it's times when I don't know if Hibs do get under a bit of pressure, and sometimes you can feel it. That's when you feel more nervous, when the crowd almost loses its back. And so if they can stick with the team for the full 95, 98 minutes, whatever it's going to be, then it does make a big help.
And just finally, how do you see this one going today? If I was going to press you for a score prediction,
I'll go 2-0 Hibs.
2-0 Hibs. Okay, Lewis Stevenson is saying 2-0 Hibs. Let us know on Instagram or on X what your score predictions are for this game. Louis, I'll let you go because I know you're on commentary duties as well, and I know there's a few people that you want to catch up with. But thank you very much for joining us here on Hibs TV. And I'm afraid that is all we have got time for. Thanks very much for watching at home, and I'll now pass you on to your commentary team of Lewis Stevenson and Cliff Pike. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.
Thank you. Cheers.
Shopping, working, and relaxing online can attract various digital threats, To improve your protection against them, just turn on NordVPN. This cybersecurity app will block web trackers and malware-infected sites. It will also encrypt your internet traffic without losing a smooth connection. Get NordVPN now. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.